Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about Electrameccanica Solo. There was a press release a few days ago saying that they're basically abandoning the three-wheeled vehicle. Let's go over it together a little bit. So roughly 100 days ago, I wrote to our shareholders and other stakeholders about the need for Electrameccanica to take a new path. I noted at the time that this need was obvious even after less than 3 weeks inside the business. Today, after having the benefit of over 3 months as a board member, CEO, and interim COO, I want to provide an update on that perspective as well as the business itself ahead of fiscal year 2022 financial results, which we will issue in the near future. So basically, they're talking about, oh, they have a proven capacity to design a thing. They have a highly flexible assembly and manufacturing space in Mesa. Now, that's saying something because they haven't really actually manufactured anything out of that space yet. They have a healthy balance sheet, zero debt, and lower cash burn. If this is true, that's really good for them. In short, we have experience competing in an emerging volatile market. We have space, equipment, and a leaner, more disciplined team, and we also have capital. So, I mean, if that's true that they have capital and low cash burn, then they're in a decent spot. I kind of don't know if that's true. I mean, their stock price is 66 cents for a reason. Um, they're concluding their contract manufacturing relationship with Zhongzhen. So the Electromechanical Solo was made by a Chinese company, Zhongzhen, and then shipped over here. And so they're planning to onshore operations to their Mesa facility. And so they want to manufacture in Mesa, Arizona, and so they're going to stop that. And then they have a voluntary recall notice that was right here. They're recalling because they have a sudden loss of propulsion, and they are going to recall the vehicle and try to fix that. So this is what they plan on doing. We're going to focus our expertise and resources on designing and building and onshore a new four-wheeled electric vehicle that we're calling Project E4. We believe that major opportunities remain for an experienced maker of smaller, nimbler EVs with eye-catching design and personalized features. We do not believe this is the important thing. We do not believe a three-wheeled autocycle can capture those opportunities given challenges ranging from its exclusion from government rebates to the difficulty for consumers of insuring, financing, and servicing a three-wheeled vehicle to consistent customer requests for more functionality. Okay, so they think that they cannot capture these opportunities given that it's excluded from government rebates. This is a big deal. Being excluded from an $8,000 government rebate really puts autocycles at a disadvantage, and it's a travesty that these rebates are kind of neglecting smaller, right-sized vehicles for that. So I see what they're coming from. Difficulty of insuring, financing, and servicing a three-wheel vehicle. So I think servicing, Aptera's got it covered by making it right to repair. I mean, that doesn't work for everyone, but I think it does help quite a bit. Financing, I think that shouldn't be a problem, but it probably is a little bit harder to finance, obviously. Insuring, yes, you're gonna have a little bit harder time finding insurance, but insurances are aware of like the Polaris, Slingshot, and things like that, so it's not going to be too weird. But it is definitely not as easy as a four-wheel vehicle. True, and consistent customer requests for more functionality. I mean, obviously, theirs is a solo vehicle. People are going to at least want 2 seats, and people probably want 4 seats or 5 seats, and then you're making just a normal car at that point. Beyond the technical issues associated with a recall notice, these barriers and others to broad customer acceptance of three-wheeled EVs make it impossible for us to profitably manufacture and sell that version of the Solo. Instead, we believe we can address the large market for a different kind of EV and become profitable if we keep the best features of Solo, including terrific styling, easy charging, great handling, and small size, while adding a wheel and other customer requested effects. I think we have an opportunity to translate our legacy of disruptive conventional bucking thinking into a superb four-wheeled EV. Okay, so we have already begun to deliver on commitments to onshore EV manufacturing in other ways beyond Project E4, as shown by our announcement with Volcon today that we'll be leveraging our Mesa, Arizona facility to help GLV assemble EV motorcycles of two of Volcon's models. When we commissioned Mesa in December, we stated we'd be exploring contract manufacturing or assembly partnership to help accelerate commercialization of our plant. I'm extremely pleased to be able to point to the GLV. Okay, so they're going to do contract manufacturing following renown. So maybe they do have some expertise in manufacturing. Okay, so I think the interesting thing about this is that they're giving up on the three-wheeled market because they think it's just not viable. I think they have a good point in that it's excluded from the government rebates. That's true. The other things are not insurmountable. Insuring, sure it's a little bit harder, but you can find insurance. Financing, maybe it's a little bit harder, but you can probably find financing. And servicing, what if you have the parts and you have the schematics, I think any reasonable mechanic should be able to service the Aptera, so not a big deal there. And then more functionality. And I think that's their problem is their their vehicle was just not very functional, especially at the price point they were asking for. Now, I did notice they did change their price. It's 15,500. It used to be 18,500. So they've dropped it $3,000, which is a pretty big thing. But you can see it's one person and basically no cargo space. It's purely a commuter car, and pretty much nothing else, and just doesn't have the range to go on road trips. As I said multiple times after driving this thing, when I test drove it, it was nicer than I expected. But I really don't see the use case scenario of why someone would buy this over an Aptera. That's just well, at that time was only a little bit more. Now it's significant. Now it's like at that price might make sense for some people. But I don't know what they're thinking because if they are gonna, I think their plan is to make a very small four-wheeled vehicle. But if you do that, now you have to meet all the regulations of a full car. And that is like a whole nother thing. And that's why Rivian and Lucid, all those companies took billions of dollars to reach production because meeting those regulatory, um, you know, getting over those regulatory hurdles takes a ton of money. Now, if they're planning on making like a neighborhood EV, basically like golf cart looking things, I guess that's fine, but I don't see a huge market for that either. So I'm very interested on what their plan for this Project E4 is. Because if they're trying to make a cheap, small car, I'm thinking like a Fiat 500e type size vehicle or something like that, they're just going to have to spend a ton of money to get past the regulations of that kind of vehicle, which is, the whole three-wheeled autocycle thing it's a double-edged sword. It is harder to get insurance and financing, and the consumer acceptance is lower, but you do sidestep all the regulations that a four-wheeled vehicle gets. Um, and if they had gotten the rebate, I think Aptera would be a no-brainer. Like think of Aptera, but $8,000 cheaper. Like that would be the most amazing deal in an EV ever. Still, if you look at overall total cost of ownership, Aptera is an amazing bargain. But people can't really see past the initial price whenever they buy anything. So the rebate definitely helps with that. Well, I it's very interesting to me that Solo gave up on it, although I did see their business model not working out. Their vehicle just is not compelling compared to the Aptera, which is basically the other dominant autocycle. And even um, even the Nimbus is way better. I would say that at $10,000, this thing is just a much more compelling vehicle if they ever come out. So this is the other one, if you've been following this channel, I've been following this Nimbus for a while, and I'm still toying with the idea of getting it. I probably will, unless the Aptera comes out first, which at this point looks like it's a toss-up which one's going to come out first. This one is supposed to come out later on this year, and we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, this is, I think, a better looking and a more functional vehicle at a more reasonable price point than this. Um, and so I can see why with their vehicle they would give up on the autocycle segment. I just don't know if they fully realize what they are saying by trying to get into a full vehicle. Like, are they going to compete with Volkswagen on their ID2? And then there's a bunch of Chinese EVs that are going to be coming over into the market eventually, and they're going to be much cheaper as well. So I don't see how they're going to compete with that. But I'm curious. I'll keep you guys updated on this if it looks like something interesting. What do you think about Electrameccanica's decision to give up on the Solo? And do you agree with them that the three-wheeled autocycle is just not a viable market um, for, yeah, maybe it is for them. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks as always to our supporting members. Have a great day.